And it's impossible to know who Donald might have been under different circumstances and with different parents. But clearly he learned the lesson from watching his almost 8-year-old brother be punished for being kind, for being generous, for being sensitive, for having interests outside of what my grandfather thought was acceptable. You know, he loved to hang out with his friends. He loved to boat and fish and fly. By the time he graduated from college, he had his private and his professional pilot's license.
He wasn't a killer.
He was not a killer. And shockingly, that was a bad thing. And Donald learned that lesson. And he essentially had to sacrifice whatever goodness there may have been in him once, whatever capacities for experiencing the full range of human emotion to my grandfather. And on the surface of things, yes, he's been successful, however you want to define that term. I mean, certainly in material terms and in terms of his current position, but at what cost? And I would suggest it was at the cost of him, and sadly now, all of us.
Who did he learn to become for his dad?
He learned to become the killer you mentioned, the man who needs to succeed at all costs, who recognizes that other people are expendable, who does not need to take responsibility, who will do anything to get attention, financial rewards, and to win.
You write that he knows deep down that he is nothing of what he claims to be. He knows he has never been loved. Does children love him?
I don't know if that's true. I don't know my cousins very well. They're much younger than I am. And I guess it also depends on what that means.
What does it mean to you?
To me, love means being connected to another human being in a very deep way, being able to share things with them and trust them. In terms of a parent for a child, it means sacrificing for them and accepting them no matter what, and never putting them in a position to lie for you or cheat for you or take from you. And I don't know that most people in my family understand that.
You paint the picture of a family that is, I guess in your words, malignantly dysfunctional. How so?
From very early on, the kids were separated, not physically, but emotionally and psychologically. They were never able really to count on each other in ways that mattered. They were in competition with each other for resources that felt over time scarce, which is absurd.
Donald figured out what his father wanted.
Yes.
His mother, not so much.
No. No. She was in some ways very much a creature of that generation. The gender divide in my family was stark even for the 40s and 50s. She had very little to do with the boys. It was almost as if the boys were my grandfather's purview and the girls were hers. I think from quite early on, Donald just didn't expect much from her. He knew, I think by the time he was sent to New York Military Academy, that she wasn't going to stand up for him. And after that very tragic year when she was quite ill and inaccessible, when he was only 2.5, I don't think the rift was ever repaired.
You describe her as being more or less at her wit's end with Donald before he's sent to the military academy.
Yeah.
How so?
He didn't listen. He didn't respect her. I believe that because of that initial rift, which wasn't her fault, she was extraordinarily ill. She was in and out of the hospital for 6 to 12 months. And after that, I don't believe that she was attended to properly. Her physical well-being was perhaps addressed, but her psychological well-being was not. And for whatever reason, she was not able to repair what that absence had wrought. So